What we are not doing is what the Leader of the Opposition is proposing, which is to substantially increase the deficit, something he's regularly against, by more than $3 billion, because this government can count, Mr. Speaker. This government can count.
That wasn't a policy debate. That was a public execution. Pierre Poilievre walked into that chamber 2 days after his party got obliterated in 3 by-elections. His candidates collapsed in ridings the Conservatives used to own. One of them fell from 18% of the vote to 3. And instead of regrouping, instead of reading the room, Poilievre stood up in Parliament and pushed a gas tax plan, the same gas tax plan he has been pushing for months. And Mark Carney just picked it apart in front of the entire country. Because this government can count. That line is brutal. Not because it's clever, because it lands. Because the man on the receiving end just blew a 20-point polling lead, lost his own seat, watched 4 of his MPs defect to the other side. And now he's standing across from the Prime Minister getting told in public that he cannot do arithmetic. Here's what makes this worse. Poilievre came in with a simple ask: eliminate all 3 Liberal gas taxes all year, 25 cents a litre of savings. Sounds clean, sounds populist, sounds like something you print on a bumper sticker. Carney's answer? That plan adds $3 billion to the deficit. The same deficit Poilievre screams about every single week. Poilievre just got caught proposing the exact thing he says he's against. He didn't have a clean way out of this. Watch. Let's be clear about what just happened. Pierre Poilievre asked the same question 5 times. 5 times. And every single time,
By more than $3 billion, because this government can count, Mr. Speaker. This government can count.
Questions orales, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, there are 3 federal taxes, 3 federal Liberal taxes on gas. Excise tax, the new carbon tax from the Liberal Prime Minister, and for clean fuel, and GST that is applicable to both. After the increase in the cost of living, the Prime Minister is suspending just one of the taxes after Conservative pressure. Why not follow the Conservative plan to save 25 cents a litre for consumers by eliminating all Liberal taxes all year?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the government has a comprehensive plan to increase affordability for Canadians, including suspending the excise tax on gas, and second of all, through a tax cut for the middle class, benefits for groceries and other essentials, as well as all other programs that saves $20,000 per year per family.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
The middle class and lower classes are suffering under this Liberal government even worse than a year ago, according to StatsCan, that announces that the gap between the richest and the others is as big as ever. This Prime Minister is printing money. It creates inflation, which increases the haves of billionaires and also increases people's expenditures and costs. These gas taxes are a tax on everything. Why does the Prime Minister not want to eliminate all Liberal gas taxes in order to help those who need it the most in Canada? Mr. Speaker, first of all, I'm the Prime Minister of Canada, not the Prime Minister, the Premier of Ontario, Premier of Quebec, Premier of British Columbia. The biggest taxes on gas are provincial taxes. First point. Second point, with regards to inflation here in Canada, it is lower than the Bank of Canada's target, and the increase in Canadian salaries is 4.7% per year, Mr. Speaker. Twice inflation rate.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
There are three Liberal taxes on gasoline. There's the excise tax, there's the new Liberal carbon tax that they call the fuel standard, and then they charge the GST on those other taxes. Because of Conservative pressure, this Prime Minister...
The honourable member for Hamilton Ancaster, I believe it is far too loud during question period. Therefore, the honourable leader of the opposition may start from the top.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. There are three Liberal taxes on gasoline. Number one, there's the excise tax. Then there's the new Liberal carbon tax they call the fuel standard. And then they charge the GST on those other two taxes. Now, with Canada having the highest grocery price inflation in the G7 and paying 20% more at the pumps, we put the pressure on the Prime Minister, and he's partially backed down, removing only one of those taxes and only for a third of the year. Why doesn't he follow our full plan to reduce gas prices by 25 cents a litre by getting rid of all the taxes for all the year?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, what the government is proposing is to cut the excise tax, 10 cents a litre for gasoline, 4 cents on diesel. We've already cut the consumer carbon tax, 18 cents per litre. We are recycling all the excess revenues from higher oil prices to Canadians. What we are not doing is what the Leader of the Opposition is proposing, which is to substantially increase the deficit, something he's regularly against, by more than $3 billion, because this government can count, Mr. Speaker. This government can count.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
What he is not doing is increasing the deficit. It's only up by 100% since he took office, Mr. Speaker. Does he even read his own budget? Or does he want Canadians not to know what's inside it? In fact, all the money printing that he does, because he's famous for causing inflation, he's made a career out of it. Statistics Canada has made it clear that the gap between rich and poor is now greater than it's ever been in a report published just this week. One of the biggest taxes on the poor is the gas tax. Instead of just removing a third of the tax for the third of the year, why not get rid of the entire Liberal tax on gas for the whole year?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, one thing I've learned in my economics education is you've got to study history and you've got to look at numbers. My record as a central bank governor is inflation less than 2% at the Bank of Canada, inflation less than 2% at the Bank of England. But let's get back to where we are today, which is wages in this country are growing at more than twice the rate of inflation, and I'll spell it out for the member opposite. That means Canadians are getting ahead.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
It's clear that he's learned all the wrong lessons. Not only did he cause the housing crisis in London, not only did he cause the worst inflation in the G7 when he was the bank governor over there, he advised Justin Trudeau to print money here, causing inflation. And since arriving in Canada, he's given us the worst food price inflation in the G7, the worst investment in the G7, the worst housing costs in the G7, the worst household debt in the G7. So why doesn't he learn his lesson from all the failed economic experiments that only benefit insiders with tax havens like him, and get rid of all the taxes on gas for all of the year?
Prime Minister.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Mr. Speaker, I feel like I'm in the presence of students, and on an exam, I don't think you would pass the exam with those answers. Mr. Speaker, as the IMF confirmed yesterday, Canada will have the second fastest growth in the G7 this year. As the IMF confirmed yesterday, we have the best fiscal position in the G7. Point final. As we have confirmed, we have the highest foreign direct investment per capita in the world.
Hear, hear.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Oh, the liberal arrogance. You can cut through it with a knife. This is someone.
The honourable leader of the opposition may continue.
We have, Mr. Speaker, what we have over there is inflation of liberal arrogance. Yes. Right now, he wants to tell Canadians that they've never had it so good. When food prices are rising faster in Canada than any other country in the G7. When Canadian households are the most indebted in the G7. When Canadian housing costs are the most elevated in the G7. And when just today RBC reported that we have the worst investment in the G7. The question again is, Canadians cannot afford gas at the pump. Why not get rid of all the taxes for all the year?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
You have, Mr. Speaker, to learn a lesson, you have to have ears to hear. There are some on the benches opposite who've been listening, Mr. Speaker. And they will notice that wages are growing more than twice the rate of inflation in this country. They will notice that rents have gone down relative to incomes for 33 straight months. They will notice that I am out of time.
Carney had a different way to say no and make it sting. Wages growing twice the rate of inflation, second fastest growth in the G7, best fiscal position in the G7, IMF confirmation, and then the final move, treating Poilievre like a student who just failed an exam. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That is not how you talk to a peer. That is how a professor talks to someone who showed up without doing the reading, and the chamber laughed. Not nervously, genuinely. Now zoom out. This clip doesn't exist in isolation. Poilievre is standing in that chamber having just lost 4 of his own MPs to the other side, having just watched his candidates get demolished in ridings his party used to hold, trailing Carney by 31 points in preferred PM polling. His own former communications director is publicly asking whether Poilievre himself is the thing that needs to change, and yet here he is, repeating the same question, hoping a different answer comes out. That is not a man in control of his opposition. That is a man running out of moves. The gas tax question was supposed to be his lane. Affordability, kitchen table economics, common people versus the elites. Carney took that lane from him and turned it into a math problem Poilievre couldn't solve on camera. When a prime minister can laugh at your economics in parliament and the room agrees, you are not winning the next cycle. You are just waiting it out. And waiting is the one thing Pierre Poilievre no longer has the luxury of. If this is the fight he's bringing, his own caucus is watching. And some of them are already walking out the door. Drop a comment. Tell us if you think Poilievre survives this parliament. Subscribe if you want the fights they don't show you on the evening news.